Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Decagon Maths. Hope you are doing good. In my previous videos, which is a prerequisite to calculus, I explained what a function is and with examples, right? In this video, I will be explaining function of a function. I won't be giving the definition of function of a function actually, but I will be teaching you how to identify if a given function is a function of a function or not. So the objective of this video is for you to be able to identify if a given function is a function of a function or not. So to start with, in the previous video where I introduced us to functions, I gave an example. I gave this function that if y equals to f of x equals to 2x, right? And I said that if we have the range value of x to be from -2 to +2, right? Now we have that this value of x, -2, we have -1, we have 0, we have 1, and we have 2, right? Now these values that we have here, we call them the domain, right? And we have a corresponding value of y, which is equals to f of x. Now we call those ones the codomain, right? We call them the codomain. Now when x is -2, we know that our fx will be 2x, right? So when x is -2, fx will be 2 times -2, which is -4. And for -1, we have -2 for fx. For 0, we have 0. For 1, we have 2. And for 2, we have 4, right? So these are the codomain, and we have the domain. So we have the codomain here, right? So we can see here now that for us to get, for the given value of x, for us to get the value of our fx, it is just a step away, right? Just input this value into this function and we get finally our y equals to f of x. Just input -2 into this, then we get our f of x, which is -4 straight away. Now let's take a look at another example. In this case, this example will lead us to the actual function of a function that we're talking about. In the first example that I made, y equals to 2x, and we see that to get the value of y, which is our dependent variable, it is just a step away, right? But there are some functions that we cannot easily determine the value of our dependent variable. It's just a step away. So let us take a look at this. If you have y equals to f of x, in which f of x is defined as log 2x. Now, let's say we are given some values of x. Let's say we are given 1, 2, and 3, right? Now, for us to get this log 2x, we have to know the value of our 2x because 2x is a function on its own. And after that, we can now determine the value of log 2x, which is our dependent variable, right? That means we have to know the value of 2x when x is 1. We have that when x is 1, 2x will be 2, right? That is the first step. And to get finally our dependent variable, which is y, which is equals to log 2x, we will then put the value of 2x that we've obtained, which is 2, we put it in that. That means we have to find log 2, and log 2 is equals to 0.2010. That means when 2x is 2, then our dependent variable will be 0.3010. So you can see that obviously this kind of function, it takes 2 steps. Whenever we have more than just a step to be able to obtain our dependent variable, such function is called function of a function because it requires more than just a step to get our dependent variable. It involves 2 steps before we can get our dependent variable. So let's attempt the other ones here. For this, when x is 2, we have 4. That is 2 times 2, right? We have 4. And then the logarithm of 4 will give us our dependent variable. And that is 0.6021. So I want you to do for when x is equal to 3 by yourself. So try that and see what you get. We have been given some functions here, and we want to identify if they are functions of a function or they are not function of a function. Now let's start with the first one. This one is 5x. Now we know that any given value of x, we just multiply it by 5 and we get the value, right? So this is not a function of a function. This is just a direct function. What about x plus 1? This is not a function of a function, because any value of x that we know, we just add 1 and then we get our value, right? What about sine 5x? Sine 5x is actually a function of a function. Yes, because 5x is a function, right? Then we now have to find the value of sine 5x, because we have to find 5x because we get sine 5x. That means sine 5x is a function of a function. And then the next one, we have 3 sine y. Is this a function of a function or not? Alright, this is actually not a function of a function, because once we know the value of y, right, we can find the value of 3 sine y. For example, if sine y is 30 degrees, if we know the value of sine 30, then we multiply by 3. So this is not really a function of a function. A function of a function, this is a direct function. So the next one, let's look at the next one, which is x plus 1 all raised to power 2. Alright, this is actually a function of a function, because we have to find the value of x plus 1. Then after that, we have to square the result to get our final value. So this function is a function of a function. Now, what about this? Is it a function of a function? Yes, this is a function of a function. In fact, this is more complex, because we have to find the value of 2x, and then we find the value of tan 2x. After then, we then find the value of sine of tan 2x. So this is the function of a function. Now let's look at the next one, which is sine t. Is it a function of a function or not? Sine t is not a function of a function, because once we know the value of t, you can just get sine t straight away. So sine t is not a function of a function. So I've done the first 7. So we still have other ones here, and I'll be showing us now. So please, you tell if they are functions of function or they are just direct function. So you should be able to tell that. As you can see, we have log x squared, we have square root of x, we have root x plus 3, we have the square root of x plus 3, we have e to the power of x, and we have e to the power of minus 3x, we have the natural log of e to the power of x, and we have tan of x minus 2 all raised to power 2. So you can take your time to determine if these functions are functions of a function or not, right? So please kindly do that, and you can also send your answers in the comment section. So thank you guys for staying through. I hope by now you can now identify function of a function whenever it's being given. And I want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for staying through. See you next time. Goodbye.